So UFC 316 is taking place this weekend. The title fight, the headliner for that card, is the rematch between Merab Dvalishvili and Sugar Sean O'Malley. And I, Tony Has Died, am looking at this fight and realizing there's a lot of legacy on the line here. You know what I mean? Like, Merab wins this, he stamps himself as the greatest bantamweight of all time. If O'Malley wins this, he's gonna jump a couple names. You know what I mean? So let's get straight into it. The top 10 greatest bantamweights of all time. So let's do the honorable mentions first. Honorable mention, I got Cody Garbrandt. You know, he beat Dominick Cruz. 25 minutes. Cody Garbrandt was the greatest fighter of all time. No, he wasn't. All right, but still a really, really good win. He beat Dominick Cruz, and that's really about the only win that he has. One-hit wonder, definition of a glass cannon, Cody Garbrandt. Next honorable mention, I got Corey Sandhagen. I really think that Corey, pretty super well-rounded, beat Song Yadong, beat TJ Dillashaw. Has a couple, I think the TJ Dillashaw fight was a robbery. Had a very close fight with Petr Yan. Yeah, I think that Corey Sandhagen deserves a shout, and I want to shout out Umar Nurmagomedov as well. Just as an honorable mention, I don't think that Umar's done anything crazy to be in the top 10, but I think skill-wise, like legacy-wise and resume-wise, no, Umar's not there, but like if you just look at him as a fighter by himself, I think he deserves a shout. So, and some fucking WEC guy, I was doing research for this fucking video, some dude named Brian Bowles, pretty good. So, let's get straight into this video. Number 10 on this list, I got Urijah Faber. He's all, you look like a 40-year-old retired skateboarder, yeah? You got a butt cheek as a chin, buddy, Yeah, the California kid, Urijah Faber, he was a featherweight WEC champion, and then he was a bantamweight UFC fighter. He ruled over the WEC for a really long time. The WEC was basically just the UFC at that point. He beat Dominick Cruz, he beat Jens Pulver, he beat Rafael Assunção, and I'm pretty sure he beat Ricky Simone, and those are his best 4 wins. He lost to basically all the best people he fought, but I feel like the most important thing that Urijah Faber did was establish Team Alpha Male. Still a gym to this day. Super legendary gym in the history of UFC and MMA. As for resume-wise, I think Urijah Faber gets a little overrated. It's just a white guy that started training MMA, you know what I mean? But he's pretty good. I mean, he's top 10 all time, but if someone becomes a champion, then they'll probably kick him out the list. Number 9 on this list, we got Miguel Torres. Listen, man, if you want to sound like a real hardcore, if you want to fake to people that you're a UFC fan and you know what the fuck you're talking about, just drop the name Miguel Torres in the next conversation. It doesn't matter what y'all are even talking about. Y'all could be talking about John Jones getting stripped, and you could just be like, Miguel Torres would have never fucking done this shit to Tom Aspinall, bruh. Or, you know what I mean? Like, you could just be like, just throw Miguel Torres in the next conversation you're having. You'll pass the vibe check, you know what I mean? They'll know you're a real fan. But this guy hasn't really beaten anybody super notable, but he was a really big pioneer in the sport of MMA. He holds a record of 44 wins, 9 losses. Most of those losses came at the tail end of his career. So, yeah, this guy lost to DJ, lost to Benavidez, lost to Brian Bowles. But before that, he went on a crazy streak, bro. Like, this guy was a marauder. At one point in his career, he was 37-1. His only loss was by decision, and then he redeemed it at that point. So, yeah, man, I got to shout out Miguel Torres. Unfortunately, he just never was able to compete against other people that are high level, so kind of brings him down. He doesn't really have like a TJ Dillashaw win, or, he fought Benavidez and lost, he fought DJ and lost, he fought Marias and lost. Split decision, but he still lost. Now, the reason that this list was so hard is because anyone from this point forward, you could make an argument that they're the GOAT of their division, bro. Like, you can say Renan Barao is the bantamweight GOAT. I would call you autistic, but there are old heads that say this. You know what I mean? You can make the argument that Renan Barao is one of the best bantamweights of all time, at least top 3. If you want to make that argument, I won't disagree with you, but I think he's number 8 on this list. The reason that I have to include him on this list is because of his legendary win streak he had. At one point in time, Renan Barao was on a 31 fight win streak before it got snapped famously by TJ Dillashaw. Now look, he also beat Urijah Faber twice, beat Eddie Wineland, beat Brad Pickett. But besides those people, all the other people he fought were terrible. Like, he's fighting an 0-4 guy in his win streak. He's fighting a bunch of cans. Some dude that's 6-5-2, another guy that's 17-6. A lot of cans in his win streak, but 31 fights in a row is crazy impressive. That brings me to the next person on this list, which is probably, this is going to be the most controversial part of this entire list. The true CEO of EPO, TJ Snake Dillashaw, the fucking little snake in the grass here. I think that he is the number 7 greatest bantamweight of all time. Now, I've seen a lot of people put him at like the number 3 spot, the number 2 spot, number 4 spot. I think that TJ Dillashaw overall has a very overrated resume. So let's get straight into it. Let's talk about his more late fights, right? Loses to Aljamain Sterling. I know he was injured going into that fight, but we can't pretend like that doesn't count, all right? Yes, he had an injury, but he still accepted the fight. He still stepped in the cage. He still said, I'm ready to go. So that counts against him. So he lost to Aljo. Aljo is really good all the time. So fight with Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen won this shit. I don't give a fuck. Corey Sandhagen won this fight to TJ Dillashaw. He robbed Aldo of the title shot, if you guys can remember. Corey Sandhagen beat TJ Dillashaw. I don't give a fuck. That fight was a robbery. Then he lost to Henry Cejudo after he cut weight. Wait, but let's not even talk about that. Let's talk about the steroid suspension. He's juiced up like Tropicana, DC. You don't understand. I thought I was juiced up. TJ Dillashaw's on steroids, right? Now, I'm not one of these people that likes to hold the steroid thing against someone too heavily. I think that everybody is on steroids in this sport. That TJ's legacy has just fucking disappeared just because he was on steroids. Like, I just don't buy that at all, you know? We have to mention the steroid thing, right? But then let's look at his resume. He beat a Sun Sal. That's pretty good. He beat Renan Barao, and he beat Cody Garbrandt twice. What the fuck else did he do? Renan Barao and Cody Garbrandt twice each? That's your whole legacy? You lost to Cruz, you lost to Cejudo, you lost to Sterling, you lost to Sandhagen, you even lost to a Sun Sal, you lost to John Dodson. TJ Dillashaw is overrated as a fighter, bro. Like, this is something that I hate to say, but it's the truth. He has no really all-time great wins. Like, if we're going to count Cody Garbrandt as an all-time great win, I'm going to say this right now, bro. Sean O'Malley beating Aljamain Sterling and beating Petr Yan is better than anything that fucking TJ Dillashaw did in his whole career. And that's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that. All right? Sean O'Malley has a better legacy right now than TJ Dillashaw. I don't think Renan Barao is that crazy of a win. I mean, it's a good win. It's a great win. If you throw Renan Barao win on like a Dominick Cruz record, then that's even crazy. Or you know what I mean? Like, that's like a nice name to have. But to try to cement yourself as one of the greatest bantamweights of all time, you got to be having more than Renan Barao, in my opinion, and Cody. So let's talk about number 6 on this list. Triple C, Henry Cejudo. I also think this guy's overrated. I'm not even going to talk about his flyweight career. So like his fights to Benavidez that he lost, his fight to Mighty Mouse, which was a robbery, but he also lost a fight to Mighty Mouse as well. So he should be 0-2 to Mighty Mouse. And then he beat TJ, but he was weight drained and it was at flyweight, right? So let's not talk about the flyweight career. Let's talk about what this fucker did at bantamweight. Lost to Song Yadong. He was getting whooped in that fight. I know there was an eye poke, but he was still losing. He lost to Merab, Olympic gold champion, got picked up, carried around on his fucking shoulder by Merab. He lost to Sterling. Very close fight, but I think Sterling clearly won the fight. Dominick Cruz win. That's a good win. But is it really? Because it was Dominick Cruz coming off a bunch of surgeries, coming off a layoff, end of his career, and it was an early stoppage. So he has the Dominick Cruz win. He has the Marlon Moraes win. And that's really all he has at bantamweight, bro. Like, let's keep it a buck. This guy's aura farming off his Olympic medal, all right? We get it, bro. You won an Olympic medal in 2008. That's really impressive, okay? But that doesn't change the fact that your resume has just a bunch of flukes in fucking early stoppages, bro. Like the Moraes win, Moraes didn't win a single fight after losing to Cejudo. Beating Cruz, it's impressive. Beating TJ, I know it was a flyweight, is impressive. There are some things that he did that were impressive, but I'm more impressed with his resume at flyweight rather than his resume at 135. So I don't think at 135 Cejudo's that crazy of a fight. I mean, he's 10-5, you know what I mean? So can't be that good, you know? Let's move on to the next person on this list. O'Malley has a sneakily underrated resume, so let's talk about it. Lost to Merab. Very close fight with Merab. One more punch landed in that first round. That fight could go to O'Malley, right? And he's fighting O'Malley again this weekend. If he wins that, he's going to jump the next couple people, all right? But let's talk about his resume. Beat Chito Vera. Beat the fuck. Chito Vera was basically just a human punching bag that entire fight. I do not, to this day, I still don't know how Chito didn't get knocked out with that knee. But yeah, man, Chito's like, he's greasing up. Shut up, Chito. But his win over Aljamain Sterling. Prime Aljamain Sterling. Step back, counter right, ground and pound. Somewhat of an early stoppage, but I don't think so. I mean, Aljo literally took like 20 shots unanswered. Aljamain Sterling is a very, very good win to have on your resume. Then he has the fight with Petr Yan. Now, this is really the fight that makes or breaks his career, depending on how you think this fight went. A lot of people call this fight a robbery. I rewatched this fight in preparation for this video. I still think O'Malley won round 1 and won round 3. He definitely won round 3. Round 1 was close, but I do think O'Malley took it. Because what did Petr Yan do with those takedowns? He didn't do shit with them, bro. O'Malley was landing better shots in round 1. Sean O'Malley beat 2 former champions. That's more than anything that fucking TJ did or Cejudo did at Bantamweight. So, plus you just watch this guy. He could win this weekend, and people will say that my take is bad if he loses for sure. But if he wins, people will say my take is good. So that's what I gotta say about that. Number 4 on this list, we got the fluke master, Aljamain Sterling. I do think that Aljo still has a better legacy than than O'Malley at this point, even though O'Malley beat him. The fight he had with Mavzar was very close, and what he did to Cater was very impressive. But that's at 145. Let's talk about 135. Beat former champ Cejudo, beat TJ Dillashaw, beat Petr Yan. And I don't think the second fight with Petr Yan was a robbery. Now, I do give the first fight with Petr Yan to Petr Yan, because that fight, if it was a 3-round fight, Petr Yan wins. He was beating the fuck out of Aljo in that fight. Round 4 came. Aljo's literally on his knees begging not to get punched. But what he did to Corey Sandhagen, choking him out in the first round, really, really, really impressive. Pedro Munoz, that's a good win, especially at the time. Pedro Munoz was on a good little tear, you know. He lost to Moraes, but I think the Sunsao fight was a kind of a robbery. Sunsao, I might as well throw him in the honorable mentions too. He has a sneakily underrated career at bantamweight. Wins over Aljo, Moraes, Pedro Munoz. He has a win over TJ as well. So Sunsao has a very sneakily underrated career. But we're not talking about a Sunsao. We're talking about Aljo. Aljo is really good. He has the most title defenses at 135. He's just a fluke master. He has so many fluky fights. But besides that, you look past that, his resume is really good. So number 3 on this list, I got Petr No Mercy Yan. I do count the first fight with Aljamain Sterling as a win for Petr Yan, because even though he threw an illegal knee, he still fucking won the fight, bro. Who was the better man that night? It was Petr Yan. He was playing with him. His second fight with Aljo was this close. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm holding my fingers really close to each other, and I'm saying it was this close. All right. Beat Corey Sandhagen, beat Jose Aldo, beat Urijah Faber, beat Jimmy Rivera, beat John Dodson. Arguably beat Sean O'Malley. I give the fight to Sean, but it was still very close. Beat Song Yadong. Beat former champion Davison Figueiredo. That's a very underrated win. Davison Figueiredo is a top 25 fighter of all time. Top 3 lightweight, flyweight of all time as well. So having the win over Figgy, having the win over Corey, Jose Aldo, the first Aljo win, Urijah Faber, I think that this warrants... if you really look at this streak right here of all the L's, Petr Yan has 4 or 5 L's. He has 5 L's. This streak right here, the second Sterling, the Sean O'Malley, those could all be wins if you look at it that way. And if you do look at it that way, then it makes sense to why you would have him at this point. But I still think he lost to Sean and lost to Aljo, but it was split decisions, very close. But I think Petr Yan, he has some of the best striking we've ever seen, and he is super well-rounded. I don't even, that trip he did on O'Malley, I don't even know what it's called. Every time I talk about that, I just call it the Petr Yan trip. We consider Aljo to be a top 4 or 5 bantamweight of all time. Corey Sandhagen, he's an honorable mention. So a lot of these people, I think Petr Yan deserves to be a top 3 bantamweight of all time. At number 2 on this list, we got Dominick Cruz. He has a win over Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. Lost to Urijah Faber pretty early into his career, but then you go past that. He beats Ian McCall. He beats Joseph Benavidez, and he works his way back to a title shot. He fights Brian Bowles, who was also in the honorable mentions. Beats Benavidez again, so that's 2 wins over Benavidez, who's one of the best flyweights of all time, but not 135, so it's not as impactful as beating Benavidez at 125. Then he beats Urijah Faber for the belt, fights DJ, beats TJ, beats Urijah Faber again. Then he loses to Cody, loses to Cejudo. Overall, Dominick Cruz, very, very underrated. I think that people kind of underrate him now. Like, when you talk about Dominick Cruz, you just talk about, oh, bro, he was old head, bro. He fucking sucked. No, Dominick Cruz was really good, bro. He was 21-1 at one point until he lost to Cody. And here's what I will say. The Cody fight, people are like, for 25 minutes, man, Cody Garbrandt was the greatest fighter. It was 3-2, and all the rounds that Cody won were scored differently by judges. There is an argument that fucking Cruz could have won the fight. That's not crazy. If you go look up the judges' scorecards right now. In fact, they're on the screen right now. The fight with Cody, all the rounds that were close, judges gave Cruz those rounds and different. So it was like they all had it 3-2, but they had different rounds scored. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. I think that fight could have been. I'm not saying that's a robbery, of course not. Because the clip farming or whatever. That fight was closer than people make it. And then the Cejudo fight was an early stoppage. Beats Casey Kenny, beats Pedro Munoz. Those are decent wins to have on your resume. When he beat Demetrius Johnson was 7-1, so that's his best win as DJ. Then you go Joseph Benavidez, Dillashaw. Some of the wins are a little overrated, which is why I don't have them at number 1, but still, you watch Cruz, he just kind of made these people look like idiots when he was fighting them. He was just a level ahead of them, So, let's talk about the number 1 guy on this list. Hey, you guys, I'm the GOAT of the division, man. I'm the GOAT. Hey, you guys, I'm going to be the champ. You have to be man. Listen, man, I want to be the champion. Look, Merab Dvalishvili is the greatest bantamweight of all time. I hate to throw us, the old heads are going to be fucking pissed I'm making this fucking point, but I don't care, bro. Let's look at his win streak, which I honestly think is the best win streak of all time. Umar Nurmagomedov, undefeated, 18-0 when he is defeated by Merab. Sean O'Malley, bro, he didn't bring Smitty. He didn't bring Smitty. That was Merab. That was O'Malley's biggest problem, is he didn't bring Smitty to the after party. But he took the belt off of O'Malley. He was kissing him and shit. He was just playing with his food. Not really. It was a close fight. Beat Cejudo. He got dropped the first round. But what he did to Cejudo, he picked Cejudo up and carried him around like a little bitch, bro. And he's an Olympic gold wrestler. So that's not something to fucking just brush off. Petr Yan, he beat, when he beat Petr Yan, that was when I was just like, how fucking good is this guy, bro? How fucking good is this fucking guy, bro? What he did to Petr Yan is crazy. Petr Yan was literally, terrified of Merab at the end of the fight. I remember there's, this moment of him, flinching when Merab was trying to shake his hand. He lost to Jose Aldo. He beat Jose Aldo as well. So, Jose Aldo, who we consider to be a top 15 fighter of all time. Petr Yan, who's a top 3 bantamweight. Henry Cejudo, who's a top 10 bantamweight. Sean O'Malley is a top 5. Umar is an honorable mention. Marlon Moraes, he's a former title contender. This is a crazy resume to have. and it's better than anything that Cruz did. It's better than anything that Yan's done. Better than anything that Urijah, O'Malley, Cejudo, Dillashaw. This guy has cleared out his division. And that's why I'm not really upset with this like rebooking of O'Malley, because it's like, who else is he going to fight, bro? Like, do we really want to see him fight Corey Sandhagen, who just got beat by Umar, you know? I'd rather, honestly, them run Umar back, because that fight was pretty close, you know? So, I do think Merab is the bantamweight GOAT. I think Cejudo's overrated. I think TJ's overrated. I think O'Malley is underrated. And yeah, that's my list. If you like the list, like, subscribe, do all that YouTube shit. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.